Hello and welcome to the second Marketing Encore Live Confessions of a 50 Plus Marketer. Thanks for joining us today and happy Memorial Day weekend. Can't believe that we are already at the unofficial launch or start of summer because it is a whopping 62 degrees in Indianapolis. Not exactly lake or pool weather just yet. But we are getting excited for the running of the Indianapolis 500 this weekend, which for those of us here in Indiana, it's quite the big deal. But in today's Marketing Encore Live, we've got a little bit different approach this week based upon the feedback from last week. So we're going to start off the show by covering the top marketing and AI headlines of the week. And we're going to give my take on why does this matter and what I think the news means for marketers. We'll, of course, also have our pop culture moment, and we'll be taking a look at that moment from a marketing perspective. And then we will unveil our second top 10 list of the week. And again, that's more of the David Letterman style. And I'm trying to make this a little bit funnier and more engaging, but I don't know what you can do whenever your top 10 list is signs AI agents have taken over your ad campaign. So stay tuned for that as we get into the show. But kicking us off this week, I would say that this week was arguably the biggest week for AI in advertising ever. We had some major news items that dropped this week. Google Marketing Live happened, and Google has a lot of announcements we'll be covering. Every major platform launched an AI agent server. So that was interesting to see. In kind of size news, Meta is about to pass Google in ad revenue. And we'll talk a little bit about what that means and what the shift we're seeing is. And then OpenAI wants your ad budget. And we'll talk through some of the changes OpenAI has made for ChatGPT advertising coming up in a little bit. So we have a lot to get through. So let's go ahead and get started. And feel free, any questions, feel free to drop those in the chat and I will tackle those as we go. But the first major news item of the week, Google Marketing Live, Gemini takes the wheel. So on May 20th, Google held its 13th annual Google Marketing Live. They live streamed it from their Bayview campus to over 100 countries. And the keynote had one primary message, and that is hand the execution layer over to Gemini. And so there were a few big announcements from kind of a feature functionality standpoint. Ask Advisor, that's Google's new unified AI agent. And that AI agent is connecting Google Ads, Google Analytics, and Google Marketing Platform, as well as Merchant Center, into one single conversational interface with shared memory. So now they have one agent and all of your Google marketing in one place. So it's going to be interesting to see how that all shakes out. They also announced new AI search ad formats. And this will be rebuilding search ads to feel a little bit more like helpful additions to AI conversations rather than interruptive placements in your AI search results. They also announced Asset Studio updates, and this is turning brand guidelines into high-performing creative faster using Gemini models. So why does all of this matter? This isn't really an update. It is a new operating model for advertising. And I actually did a video this week on my Tactical Truth Thursday on what all of these announcements mean for your Google ad spend. And, you know, they're really, it's Google is explicitly asking marketers to supervise the AI rather than to do execution of campaigns themselves. So, really, gone are the days of looking at your bid strategy. It's turn it over to AI and let Google AI do what they believe is best with your advertising. My take, is this a gift to marketers? More time for strategy? Or are they really erasing the craft of media buying and ad placement? And if AI is doing the buying, what's left for the media buyer? So I think we've got a lot to see coming out of those changes from Google. In other news, OpenAI opens ChatGPT advertising to all US businesses. So, OpenAI has opened its self serve advertising platform to any US business. And some of the early data shows ads inside of ChatGPT conversations are actually generating higher engagement than traditional display and podcast ads, especially for those high intent searches. So some of the details are, they did this very quietly. There was a threshold, I believe, of $50,000 to get into advertising within ChatGPT. That is gone. Ads are also targeting conversational context. So high intent queries like shopping, travel, or product research are where you're starting to see these ads show up. And while they started in the US specifically, they are looking to expand to the UK, Japan, South Korea, Brazil, and Mexico very soon. What this means for their financials, they are targeting opening up ads in ChatGPT at generating $2.5 billion in ad revenue this year. And their estimates seem to suggest that by 2030, they will be over 100 billion in advertising revenue in ChatGPT. So why does this matter? OpenAI is really not a startup anymore. It's an ad business, and it's coming for Google and Meta's lunch money. It's a completely new way to surface ads inside of a conversation in ChatGPT. So my take is, if someone is using ChatGPT to say, what's the best running shoe, and ChatGPT serves an ad, is the user going to feel served or manipulated? So, and I think that answer really depends on how good the recommendation is. So, I think now that this is open for all businesses, I personally have challenged my team at Seven Corners because we do a lot of advertising. We're really focused on AEO and some of the activities around zero click search. If we get into this, how does that really move the needle for driving product sales? So it'll be interesting to see. I mentioned on the size matters side, Meta is on track to surpass Google in global ad revenue. And for the first time, Meta is projected to generate more ad revenue than Google. They expect in 2026, 243 billion versus 239 billion in 2026. So Meta's Q1 ad revenue this year jumped 33% year over year to $55 billion. So this is really a historic shift. Google has been the number one digital ad seller for years. And is Meta, that has advertising through Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, and Threads, are they about to take the crown, fueled by their AI powered targeting and the increase in Reels demand? So I would say if you're not doing Reels, you're probably missing out. So that tends to be a more lucrative ad channel as well, particularly for a younger demographic. Meanwhile, Google faces AI search cannibalization from its highest intent query traffic. So my take is, what does this really say about where attention is going, that Meta, a social company, is now the biggest ad seller in the world? And does Google's core business face a structural threat that it just can't buy its way out of? So it'll be interesting to kind of see what happens there. YouTube held its annual Brandcast upfronts this week, and they debuted a significant slate of new products and creator driven ad programming. And really, their eye is on connected TV dominance. For those of you who may not be familiar with CTV or connected TV, think of streaming. That is your connected TV. So, streaming services, that is what we refer to for connected TV. One of the interesting announcements was you are now able to buy with Google Pay on connected TV. So viewers on YouTube can complete a purchase directly from their TV in 2 clicks. They also announced custom sponsorships. So AI dynamically surfaces videos tailored to a brand's desired moment. So it'll be interesting to see what that happens. There also YouTube announced creator shows. We've got some new shows that will be debuting on YouTube. So it'll be interesting to see kind of how that moves the needle as they get into more specific programming. And why does this matter? YouTube is really positioning itself as the future of TV advertising with the reach of social, a more premium feel of TV, and purchase conversion of e-commerce. Connected TV checkout is a direct shot at your traditional TV's inability to tie their viewership to actual transactions. So we're going to see more of a ability to connect your advertising and your YouTube purchase conversion in a direct line. So if you can buy a product from a TV ad in 2 clicks without leaving YouTube, does the line between content and commerce finally disappear? And is this a good thing or a bad thing for your viewers? So, I think a lot to be seen. And those are really the big news items impacting marketing this week. From a Marketing Encore side, we had a couple of videos that I debuted this week. On our Marketing Encore video was the greatest spectacle in marketing. If you haven't seen it, I encourage you to check it out. It's what does the Indy 500 teach us about staying relevant in the age of AI? And as my channel is evolving, I'm really going down the path of looking at marketing from the 50 plus marketers perspective. My birthday is actually in a little over a week. I can't believe it. I'm going to be 54. We'll talk more about that next week. But what does being over 50 and being in marketing really kind of mean in this age of AI? What new tools? I'll give you an example. This week, there's been so much talk about Claude. ChatGPT has been my go-to. I decided to dive headfirst into Claude. And it's been interesting. I've been using Cowork to set up some agents that are running on a daily basis. And what it has done for me is it's really given me the ability to stay current on marketing topics. And on a daily basis, it runs at 6 a.m. I get a report on what are the key things that I should know that are happening in AI with respect to marketing. So that's been interesting to see. And I kind of talk about in that video how that's changing not only my approach to my CMO role, but also the impact it's having on in-demand and Marketer Hub. I also had a video this week that talked about on Tuesday, the marketing mindset. Your ad budget is about to become worthless. And that really went through all of the Google changes. And I did have a video yesterday on Tactical Truth Thursday that was Google's new AI. Is it a threat or an opportunity? And I talked about the 4 moves that I would make immediately. And I kind of have gone down that path. My first move was pick one AI tool and use it every day for 2 weeks. And that I mentioned Claude. That is something that I've committed to. So I am going down the path of using Claude and seeing how it can make me more productive and help me be a better marketer. The next thing is stop selling execution, sell outcomes. You're really not, AI is really replacing everything you're doing execution wise. I just actually had a conversation with my marketing intern, and we talked about the ability for her to do an analysis of a website and then do it using AI and see how things compared between her research and what AI is saying. And really, that's going to be the opportunity for marketers in being able to take AI and then use your knowledge and skill set to interpret what that means. AI can't have a conversation with your CEO about what's going on or what's working, what's not working. What you do is take that, and how you have that conversation is one of the evolutions. The next thing I would say, let me repeat. Start sharing publicly, and that would be your thinking. And that's exactly what I'm doing here with the Marketing Encore. I see we have a comment. I love the advice to use one new AI tool for 2 weeks and get used to it. Yeah, thank you. That is something that I think is really important, and I'm anxious to see what all Claude is going to be able to do to help me with becoming a more efficient and effective marketer. And then the final move I would make is talk to your CEO about AI before they bring it up to you. My CEO is very active on AI news. And so I try and beat him and stay more current and have those conversations before he has the conversation with me. I do want to talk a little bit about pop culture. And that is The Devil Wears Prada 2. How many have you seen this? I'm thinking of going to see it this weekend, but this is really nostalgia marketing at maximum power. Easy for me to say. The Devil Wears Prada 2 opened on May 9th, and so far had generated $77 million domestically and $233 million worldwide. This is the 3rd biggest domestic debut of 2026, and it was Meryl Streep's biggest opening ever. It's the highest grossing comedy opening since Pitch Perfect 2 in 2015. And the film has now crossed $2 billion worldwide. The second weekend was another $43 million in domestic ticket sales. So what was kind of the marketing behind this? Disney's campaign behind this film is really a masterclass in brand sponsorship strategy and partnership strategy. The film attracted brand collaborations valued at a combined $250 million. And that was really far beyond fashion, if you will. Some of the key partnerships that they had, Mercedes actually launched a bespoke Mercedes Maybach S-Class campaign tied to the film, and it was really their first of a kind partnership. United Airlines actually replaced its digital tracker plane icon with red heels. And Vogue's May 2026 cover was Anna Wintour and Meryl Streep. Influencers also tracked Anne Hathaway and Emily Blunt's press tour from Mexico City to Asia to New York to London. And Fortune called it potentially the largest victory for Hollywood's IP machine. So Why did this work for the show? Really, this is a live case study in nostalgia marketing, brand collaboration scale, and the question of whether IP sequels are now just marketing vehicles with movies attached. So, my take on this is when a movie's brand partnerships are worth $250 million, which is more than most films' production budgets, is the film the product or just the delivery mechanism for deals? So, also, can any brand not want to do this in the next big nostalgia sequel? So, it'll be interesting to see. I haven't seen the movie yet. I'm hoping to get to see it this weekend. But again, this is kind of a new era in brand partnerships with movie debuts. So, with that, let's transition to our top 10 signs AI agents have taken over your ad campaign. And we will go with number 10. Your A B test has 47 variants, and not one of them was approved by a human. I think this would be better with laugh tracks. Number 9, the creative brief is now a Slack message to a bot that says, make it pop. Number 8, your campaign is self-optimizing at 3 a.m. and it just submitted a timesheet. Number 7, the AI paused your highest performing ad for a brand safety violation. The brand in question was yours. Number 6, you received a notification that your AI agent argued with TikTok's AI agent over your cost per click. You weren't copied on the thread. Number 5, your media buyer's new title is Human Oversight Layer. Number 4, Google's MCP, Meta's MCP, and TikTok's MCP are all simultaneously optimizing your budget, and none of them agree on what conversion means. Number 3, your client asked who approved the Q2 campaign. The answer is autonomous optimization and vibes. Number 2, you typed make it feel more premium into your AI agent. It raised the minimum bid and added serif font. You called it a win. These really need a lot of work. And the number 1 sign AI agents have taken over your ad campaign. Your campaign just hit a record ROAS. You have no idea what ran, where it ran, or who approved it. But you are absolutely taking credit for that in your next all hands. So with that, that is this week's top 10 signs an AI agent has taken over your ad campaign. Again, I think I need to work on these. My goal was to make it more David Letterman, but it's really becoming more of kind of a boring read of AI jokes. So I promise to work on that for next week. And one thing I wanted to mention, a new offering from In-Demand Consulting and the Marketing Encore. This coming week, I will be launching. It's actually live. You can sign up for it now if you go to growwithindemand.com. But I will be launching the new Marketing Encore Daily, which is a newsletter with the top marketing headlines of the day delivered directly to your inbox. And again, you can sign up for that right now by going to growwithindemand.com. And I promise it will be packed with very good information for marketers, especially those of us a little bit more seasoned in our marketing career. So with that, I think it's time for a cocktail, although I've got more work to get to. I've got an automation to build and some more work to do to sell that travel insurance. And I want everyone to have a fantastic Memorial Day weekend. With that, have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week.